Man, at this juncture in the year, we really kind of gauge where we are. Can we get better each and every day? And the kids understand that we've talked a lot about the energy, the effort, the attitude. And when I talk about that, it's not that they have bad energy, effort, or attitude, because they have great. They're great. They're doing exactly what we're trying to get them to do. But sometimes, if we want to get to where we want to get to, we have to come out with that mindset that we're going to be able to be dominant every possession, with the understanding that we know we can't be dominant every possession. But I felt like tonight there were times where we were just a little bit lackadaisical, and we felt like we were taller or longer, and allowed people to get to their spots where they wanted to. And they made some kind of crazy shots today. One hit the rubber and rolled in. I have never seen a shot to go in like that. But you give them credit; they played really hard, and Kristen does a really good job with that group. They played. I think we were their fourth Power Four team that they played, and I watched them against Notre Dame. They were in the game up until like halftime, and I watched them against Purdue, which they beat Purdue, and so they've got a good thing going there. So, but we just understand where we were trying to go, and we need to get a little bit better. And they understand that, but a win is a win, and we're very happy to celebrate that, and we'll continue going on and being happy being 10-1.
Coach, I think it was maybe the Louisville game where you kind of introduced this idea of the third quarter blitz to us, and you did it against Miami and you did it against today. Just kind of explain that more in depth.
Yeah, I got that from you remember back in the day when the Warriors were exceptional, and they would always come out, and it's almost like that third quarter was a different focus, and it's like a recalibration, and okay, you kind of see what the people are trying to do to you, make a couple adjustments, and whether you have to adjust your attitude a little bit or what the understanding, and they've done a really good job with that understanding, and like the Miami game, we just had some shots that didn't fall. And then in the second half they start falling, and but we just have to keep that energy, that attitude, and know that even if things aren't going our way in the first half, we recalibrate at halftime and come out and be ready to go second half.
Keone, it seems like that you're adjusting well to playing with new point guards, not just Tony, but also with Asia. Can you kind of describe that transition from having somebody like Georgia to playing with these teammates now?
Yeah, you'll have to excuse my voice, but yeah, I think that transition was just something that we've worked on since summer. It's something that is going pretty smooth. I mean, every game you learn something new about who they are as a player, who they are on the court, off the court, just their demeanor, how they are within each quarter. Just learning them, I think, is something that will continue to progress, and I think it's been pretty smooth so far.
So this could be for all of you, by the way. I think there was 3 shot clock violations from you guys tonight. Just what was the going on during those times where the shot clock violation with you?
It was, if you look at them, I think 2 of them were we had lineup changes, and we were trying to move the ball, and then we got into a pickle at the end, and they're nothing like I was when I played, because if that shot clock was going down, I had the basketball. That was showtime, whether I made it or not. But they're still trying to make the play out of the offense and whatnot. And it was something that we'll watch it, we'll figure it out. I think Asia had the ball once or twice, and normally she'll just put her head down and try to make something happen. But we were still a little bit passive on it. But it is unusual that it happened 3 times.
Yeah, Asia, you've got to be happy with your role now. I mean, you've played 28 minutes, so those are starter minutes. How would you describe how you've evolved and how your game has evolved?
My first conversation with Coach, he put me in a new position right off the bat, and that's being point guard. I haven't played point guard since I was in high school, so he just kept reminding me that I had to embrace it, keep working hard, even through the bad days where I made mistakes, and my confidence was low. But he continued to remind me that, yes, I have to continue to embrace this, because the more positions he's going to put me in, the more I can play, and that's why I have those minutes. Yeah, I'm just continuing to embrace the new role that he's putting me in, and just continue to work hard and listen to him.
Jerry, how would you sum up your ball distribution? Not just today, I guess I think you had 24, 25 assists, but just, again, talking about post Georgia and really trying to get everybody involved and make sure your point guards, get the ball in the right hands?
Yeah, I mean, it's a very unselfish group, and they really play for each other. Kind of like the shot clock violations. They're unselfish. They want to try to make the right play for each other, and they don't care who gets the opportunity as long as we're successful at it. And that's in this day and age. That's a tremendous plus. And it's happened very organically, and we don't say a whole lot. We just talk about what we think is a good possession, what's a good pass, what's a good shot, and I think it's going to be even more. I think we still haven't shot the ball like I really want us to. And I think there are going to be games that we do shoot the ball like that, and I think you're going to see even more so, more assists. And I love them playing like that. It's to me, it's fun basketball. It's fun basketball. It's very entertaining basketball, and the more and more people we get out and come out and watch it and see how exciting it is, this place is going to get rocking in January, and we're excited to be a part of that.
Defensively, how have you adjusted since the beginning of the season? What has been your emphasis of it? Everybody talks about your length, but what have you focused on the most?
I'm glad you asked about my defense because I've been a head coach for 24 years, and people until I got here, really, people never talked about our defense. It makes me excited, but we've got kids who we do have length. And it is challenging because we will contest a lot of shots, and we do a good job of rebounding the basketball. And we have players who can play multiple positions. Like Kiani is just as good guarding on the perimeter as she is in the post. Clara can switch out on the perimeter if need be. But what they're doing, they're getting better at is understanding each other's strengths and weaknesses, and they know that where they like to send each other, and they're there for the help, and then the rotations are getting a lot better. So, our defense wasn't as good in the first half. They made some shots, but we locked in. I think we kept 17 points in the second half, and because they had that more of a focus. And I do think our defense is one of the better defenses in the country. It really is. Maybe we don't get out and we don't steal the basketball as much, but we really guard that paint, contest, and go rebound. And they're only getting better and better because of it.
Kenny, one of the key buzzwords we hear in this new landscape is roster construction.
Mhm.
You've made no bones about it. You've been very intentional about putting it together. If you were giving a coaching clinic, and since it does seem like you've been successful with it, what are maybe the 2 or 3 key points that you would describe in your success?
We never try to win the initial press conference. It's really easy to, hey, let me go out get this kid, and she's 20 points a game, and then the media talks about it, and the internet's blowing up, and everybody's like, oh, they got this group. But it might not be a good fit. We're very intentional. The second she hit the portal, I was like, that's who I want. Okay. She hit the portal. All right. That's who I want, because I know where they can feel. I know how she can play with a Clara strike. I know how we need a shooter. And like I told her, you're going to get here, whether you start or not, you're going to play starter minutes. So we feel like she's like our 6th starter. And so we sit down and we figure out what type of player we want. And then when the portal opens, we don't look at your stats. We look at, okay, do you fit that category in which we want? And so many coaches will try to go out and they'll just try to, assemble a bunch of talent. And then you got to put them together. And you got to try to put that puzzle together, and you got so many of the same pieces that it doesn't fit. And we're very intentional in what we want to do. I think I've told you guys before, we don't try to win the press conference in the beginning, where everybody says, oh, you're going to be great. And that's why sometimes, okay, maybe we were 22nd to start off the season. We knew we were better than that. But now you just go prove it, because you got the right pieces together, and, 25 assists in game 10. I think we've done that before. It's because we got the right pieces together. And this team right here is constructed to be really good because they really play off of each other and they know each other. And but that's very intentional. My staff is the best in the country. I've said it a million times. We keep them around, and the continuity we have with each other. We got a system, and we'll continue to do that.
This is for Asian and Taylor. You guys are coming off a long road trip. Just what was it like being back home playing in front of the crowd?
It was really nice. We had a really good trip in Puerto Rico. We've been traveling a lot, but we just had to hone in and focus on where our feet are. And Coach always says the next game is always the most important game. So we just had to really focus on our next opponent and get better and fix the mistakes that we did in the previous games.
Yeah, I'll second that. It was we learned a lot while we were on the road. Obviously, coming back to Big Blue Nation is always, where we like to be with our fans and bringing the energy and stuff like that. So it was great to be home finally and have a chance to learn from everything that we encountered on the road.
You were talking about this earlier. You only gave up 17 points in the second half and forced 9 turnovers. What kind of defensive adjustments did you make at halftime that sort of contributed to that?
I think they made a couple of the adjustments. Obviously Darrington is a really good player, but I think her family was very boisterous in the crowd and what was going on, and I didn't have to say a whole lot. They made an adjustment, made an attitude adjustment. I think we kept her to 1 point in the second half, but that was the type of energy, the effort, the attitude that we needed. We did put Jordan on Darrington to start, and it allowed Tiani and Clara to roam free a little bit. So they were the secondary defenders and made it very tough for her, but also a lot of other people with their length. But it was just, it was just really the attitude adjustment. And then we got out, and I think we went on a, I don't know, 8 or 10-0 run to bust it open. But I think which was good, and everyone's to be supported. And I never saw Darrington play in high school. I think she played here before I got here. But like this was a big game for her. And because we did the same thing with Clara. We took Clara to Buffalo. All right. So they knew the energy that, there were a lot of people in Buffalo rooting for Clara, so you got to step up, you got to protect your home court. And that was good. That was good for them because they made that adjustment without me even saying anything. And their intensity level was different. And that just fueled us for the second half.
Cool. We'll see you at Drake's tomorrow. Thank you all.
Tell everybody to come to Drake's.
Yeah, go Drakes. Come to Drakes.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.